like a session mead that has citrus flavors in it, for example, or like an orange blossom mead that has citrus notes in it.
Well, that mango session mead would go really good with just about anything I do with shrimps. Yeah, so I'm sitting here thinking about how I often saute shrimp in mead and butter. So, yeah.
And then another big trick that I picked up from the wine world is oaked wines tend to go really well with grilled and smoked and barbecued foods.
Okay.
And when I read that in a wine magazine several years ago, I started looking for oaked meads and like whiskey barrel aged meads to use the same way. And they're terrific. So if you can find a barrel aged mead, and then you're wondering, what do I serve with this? Try smoked and grilled and broiled things. The smokiness in the food works really well with the oak flavors.
Fun. God, I'm like sitting here drooling now and starting to plan out my vacation week and how many bottles of mead I'm going to have to take home with me so that I can make meals for my family all week and do this.
Oh, yeah. If you're on vacation, you got to budget 1 bottle of mead a day.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, well, I'm making a day trip down to Detroit, so I'll be going to Bee Nectar and Stram's Mead and whatever else meaderies I can find in the driving distance. So, I'll have plenty of access. Plus, there's like 3 meaderies near where my folks live, so...
Yeah, Michigan's kind of a hot spot. You're going to be having that problem of lugging a lot of weight around after that trip, I think.
No, we're driving, so...
3 or 4 cases of mead.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we're driving,
Perfect.
So no problem. And, yeah, St. Ambrose is actually about 30 minutes north of where my folks live, so it's, there's a lot. And there's a new meadery in Traverse City, Michigan, which I have to go visit while we're there, so... And they just opened about 8 months ago.
And Be Well Meadery is in Michigan. Yeah. Are you going to the Upper Peninsula at all? There's a couple in the Upper Peninsula now.
I've actually been to Algoma in the Upper Peninsula, and they're really sweet. If you ever get the chance to go up there, they're in this amazing church. It's an old decommissioned church, and it's just beautiful. Wow. But I didn't know there was a second one. They must have opened since I've been up there, but not this trip. I'm not going. I'm going to be staying in the Lower Peninsula this trip.
Mm-hmm. And there's one in Valparaiso, Indiana now, which is just across the border.
Might be going that way,
it's a real
too.
hotspot.
We're talking about going to visit a trailer manufacturer for an RV that we're saving up to buy at some point in the future. So, but, yeah, I mean, gosh, you got some really good stuff going on here. I'm excited. This is going to be a fun book. As soon as it goes up on pre-buy, I'll get my order in.
Well, thank you. So I'll definitely be getting a banner ad on gotmead.com that'll link directly to Amazon for buying individual copies. And when we get to the point that I'm ready to ship it, then I'll also be back in touch with each of those commercial meadery owners and offering them a case or two, discounted with a nice markup for selling in tasting rooms. So it should be, I think, available in most meadery tasting rooms, hopefully most homebrew supply stores, because, of course, most mead makers are homebrewers, and then also through Amazon for individual copies.
Yeah, that'll be cool. This is really great. I think that this is going to really help to kind of open the doors to the mead world, to the people who are not yet knowledgeable about it, because mead, I think part of the problem that we have in our industry is that mead is strange to people who don't know it, and we know it's not really strange, it's just different, but
the problem is it doesn't fit in any one category because it's such a broad, there's so many possibilities with a mead. I mean, it doesn't have to be sweet, it doesn't have to be dry, it doesn't have to be strong, it doesn't have to be weak, it can be anything.
Yeah, well, it's flexible.
And I think that's probably what's so daunting about trying to figure out how to pair it. I mean, I was wondering how you figure out whether something will pair better with a sweet or a dry mead.
Okay, what's your response for that one, Chrissie? That's a good question.
That is. So, like with pairing sweet wines and dry wines, I think savory foods that don't have a lot of sweetness tend to pair better with dry meads. Sweeter meads work well either with hot and spicy foods, so they're terrific with Asian food. The whole spectrum of Asian food. Indian food, Chinese food, Japanese food, Malaysian food, Thai food. The whole spectrum of Asian food is like made for sweet meads. Meads and melomels. And even something like a ginger mead, if it's not a hot ginger mead, but like it's a more subtle, sweet ginger mead, like with Chinese braised short ribs, for instance, if there's not too much ginger in it, it goes really, really well with a semi-sweet to sweet ginger mead, because the sweetness cools any chili pepper heat in the dish, and then the ginger amplifies the flavors that are already in the recipe. Where dry meads tend to behave like white wines for pairing, and so you can look at there is a huge genre of pairing white wine with food books. I mean, in any wine enthusiast or wine spectator magazine or any book on wine and food pairing, you'll find lots of ideas for things that go well with white wine, and those almost universally will work well with a dry traditional mead.
Okay, thank you very much. That's giving me way too many ideas.
Usually you can hear her clacking away on her keyboard. Oh, wow.
I'm trying to type quiet, all right?
Yeah, no, you're doing well. I just know from experience that you're over there clacking away on your keyboards. Because I know you. This is
as long as you can't hear me muting the conversation every 5 minutes to type stuff.
Well, I've got your galley that you so graciously allowed me to see, and I'm going to be reading it over the next couple of days, and also probably on the 17-hour drive back to Michigan. So, I'll get you feedback on that, and I'll probably be ready to start doing a review on it, so that you'll have that ready for the pre-purchase when it's ready for that to go up.
Oh, that's terrific. If you want to write one of those mini reviews for the back cover, that'd be awesome too.
Oh, yeah, gosh, thank you.
Not many people have as long a foot in the mead world as you do. So that would be terrific.
I'm honored. Thank you. It's really, I've never been asked to do that before. Thank you very much. Cool.
Oh, that's actually surprising. Yeah, I'd love to have you do that.
Thank you. I'd love to.
Let me plant another seed in your mind. How about this one? Salted rose and a honey pie paired with a rhodamel.
Oh my God. That's amazing. I have panting, terrified dogs all leaping on me right now because there's huge thunder boomers, and my husband's not here to protect the dogs from the thunder gods.
Chrissie, I just wanted to confirm that Amazon was going to be shipping to Australia, because I've noticed a few times when I've bought a few things that they're restricted and will not sell to Australia, so just to make sure that I'll be able to get a copy, yeah.
Well, if for some reason they don't name it, I'll buy one
Amazon.
and send it to you.
Yeah, I can certainly ship directly if need be. I think Amazon's probably better at shipping than I am. That's a little daunting to me, but we'll make sure you get a copy. There's a lot of meaderies in Australia, too. You never know. I might have to hand carry you a copy.
Yeah, really.
Well, research. I'll eliminate for research.
In theory, I'm going out there next year. Yeah,
come over here, so maybe you could tee things up, and we could all go on a road trip together.
Yeah, there we go.
God.
That would be awesome.
You'll have
We'd be broadcasting every week.
Yeah, we would.
The Australian Mead road trip. That'd be exciting.
Got Mead live down under.
Oh, God.
That would be so cool.
You've announced it publicly now,
being
Vicky.
stuck at home, though.
Well, if you were to get a passport, you wouldn't have that problem, you know.
Yeah, I still can't afford the plane ticket.
I know. We're working on that.
Yeah, well.
So you guys
don't think it'll get better.
Panting going on here. I have a terrified dog in my lap right now. But oh my gosh, I'm so excited for it. I can't wait to to actually hold it in my. I haven't bought an actual book in quite a while, so I'm looking forward to buying a physical book again. This is cookbooks are one of the things that I do buy in physical format because I like to handle them. So and this is kind of like the James Beard Mead cookbook, kind of. Maybe you'll get put up for a beard award.
Well, that's a very nice thing to hear. That'd be awesome, wouldn't it? I mean, not for me personally, although it would be fun. But wouldn't it be cool for Mead to get that kind of national exposure?
Yeah, it really would. Well, there's no reason why we couldn't put it in for one and see what happens. The worst thing they can do is say no. One of my favorite cookbooks is a recipes around the world, and the book is more history book than it is cookbook. And it's like basically foods of the Mediterranean, and it goes all the way around the Mediterranean. And it's an amazing book. You can sit and read it like a novel because it's all this history interspersed with some recipes, and it got a beard. It was just like, oh my gosh, so. Down you go.
See, I've got a question for you with regards to cocktails. Being as cocktails, I expect would be very much like matching food with mead, and therefore, choosing things that go well with it, and mixing it all up. What was the most unexpected cocktail that you came up with that just worked a treat?
Well, my favorite cocktail of the moment, and let me tell you, that changes daily at the moment because I'm mixing them and photographing them. But at the moment, my favorite is called the Violet Honeybee, and it's not my recipe. It's from Denise Ingalls at Sky River Meadery in Washington State. So there's this dark purple violet liqueur, like violet like the flower, and it's just this deep, deep purple color. It smells like flowers. And so it's a cocktail made both with that and with sweet mead. And so it just smells like flowers and honey. It's a very girly drink, but the men I've offered it to have liked it as well. The other thing, I guess my second runner-up would be a Capsamel hot chocolate. So imagine 2 parts hot chocolate with 1 part vanilla mead and 1 part Capsamel. It's like Mexican hot chocolate, but with mead.
Yeah, I can see that working.
I'm feeling more and more corrupted as this conversation goes on.
This is seriously decadent. This is just crazy decadent. Oh, yeah. Chrissie, what we ought to do is do like a day of mead and food pairing at the Mazer Cup or a festival or something like that, where we can basically just use the book and just do this.
My final question.
There's a lot of fun things to do. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. One of my favourite dishes is to go get some wild rabbit, and the old English recipe calls for it to be slow cooked in apple cider with a couple of tablespoons of honey added, and I'd really like to use a sizer for that instead. But just wondering, based on the fact that you're then creaming after you take all the veggies out and you add a whole lot of cream in there, and it becomes a very creamy sort of stroganoff, but tastes completely different rabbit honey sort of dish. What kind of mead would you put with that one?
Well, as you love rabbit too, and I think your idea of using a sizer is a really good one. I think you'd want to pre-taste the sizer. So this is another reason why you should never buy just 1 bottle of anything when you're at a meadery. Always buy in 3s. But if you've got 3 bottles of sizer and you can preview one just by tasting it, right? And then make some tasting notes. And by the way, can I also give a little plug for the little tasting notebook called 33 Mazers of Mead, and you can look it up on the web that way and buy it. It's just a little pocket tasting book. But if you keep notes, then when you want to make something like that, you can look at your notes and say, well, this sizer was kind of sweet. I don't think I want that in my rabbit dish. this sizer had some hop bitterness in it, and I don't think I want that in my rabbit dish. And this other sizer was kind of a full-bodied, semi-sweet sizer